Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Welcome to my video on using the substitute, replace, and find functions in Microsoft Excel. So in counseling research, sometimes we are given data sets or we assemble data sets only to realize that we need to modify the value contained in certain variables. And that's where the substitute and replace functions come in handy. And for certain situations, the replace and find functions combined can also be useful. So I'm going to begin with the substitute function. We use the substitute function when we know the string that we want to replace. So in the case I have here, the value to modify, you see it's date of birth and then the actual date of birth, and we want that to read DOB. We want to abbreviate that and have the date of birth. So in order to use the substitute function in this example, I'll go over here to column E. We'll start with the equal sign, then the function substitute. The text will be cell B2, which contains the text that we want to modify. The old text is the string date of birth, which we put in quotation marks. The new text would be, again in quotation marks, would be DOB. And then we have it. So this is how we use the substitute function. We know the string date of birth that's going to appear in every instance in this variable. And we can simply substitute in DOB in place of date of birth. Now, moving to the replace function. The replace function works differently. We use the replace function when we know the location of the string that we want to replace. So that's a start location and a number of characters. So in this example, we'll start with equal sign, then the function replace. We know the old text is going to be cell B2. The start number is going to be at the beginning of the string. So it'll be 1. And we want the number of characters to be 13. And the new text, of course, will still be DOB in quotation marks. So you can see it's fairly straightforward. You simply need to know the location of the string. So in this instance, and in the next two, we're taking YR period and changing it to year, using substitute and replace, and alert and oriented, and change that, the and to the ampersand. Both substitute and replace can accomplish the job equally as well. But what if we're in a situation where we want to change a value like this? Session April, comma, session August. And we realize that we need the second instance of the word session, of the string, to be changed to read last session. Now, of course, we could use the replace function here if session April was always session April. But if it was session July, for example, that would be a different value, and we could not substitute out last session for session using the replace method. Because the month is dynamic, it would change. So that's where a special feature in the substitute function can come in handy. So moving over here, we'll start the same way. Substitute. The text, of course, will be cell B5. The old text we want to replace is going to be the word session. And the new text, in this case, will be last session. But then we'll add a comma, and you can see there's an optional argument called instance number. In this case, we want to tell Excel to find the second instance of the string session. So we'll type in a 2, close the parenthesis, and you can see it's substituted in last session for the second instance of session. So that example was an instance where the substitute function would work, but the replace function would not. In these next 3 examples, these represent instances where the replace function would work, but the substitute function would not. So say we have values formatted as I have these values formatted here. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then B, C, D, E, 1, 2, 3, 4, and C, D, E, F, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we want these 3 characters, not the A, not the first character, but the second, third, and fourth character to be substituted out with the word group. So this would read A, group 1, 2, 3, 4, B, group 1, 2, 3, 4, and C, group 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we can't use the substitute function because the second, third, and fourth characters in these strings is different in each of these examples. But we can use the replace function. So we'll start with the function replace. The old text will be cell B6. The start number will be 2, because we want to start with the second character. And the number of characters will be 3. Then for the new text, we just don't want to type in group in quotation marks. We want to leave a space before we start the word group and another space after. And of course, if we autofill, we'll get the desired result, even though the second, third, and fourth digit change from value to value. So now I'm going to move on to another set of examples that combine the replace and find functions to achieve a functionality that we can't achieve with substitute or replace alone. So take a look at these examples in cells B10 through B12. And you can see what we want to do here is we want to retain the group and the digits behind the group, in this case group 12. We want to replace the A and the 4 digits following the A with just A4. And then of course the day of the week. Now if the group always had just 2 digits behind it, like group 12, group 13, group 14, this wouldn't be a problem. We could use the replace function because we'd know the location would be constant. But as you can see in these other examples, the number of digits following the word group can change. We can still achieve our desired result even with these values, these number of digits following group changing. But we're going to have to use the find function nested within the replace function. So first, let me show you how to use the find function. So we'll type in find, and then the find text, in this case, will be the A, in the example that I'm demonstrating in column C over here, or will momentarily. The within text is cell B11. And you can see this is character 10. So it's saying that it's finding the A at the 10th position. So we know group is 5. And we have 3 more for the digits. It's 8. A space is 9. And then A is 10. Now so you can see in the example I have above here, above the example with A, I have a space. That's for the function here to the right, which serves a different purpose I'll get to in a few minutes. So now that we have we know how we can arrive at this value. We can nest find within replace. So we'll start with replace. The old text, of course, is going to be B11. The start number is going to be the function find. The find text, of course, will be the A. The within text, again, B11. The number of characters will be 5. And the new text will be A4. So you can see it substituted A4 in for the A and then the 4 digits, and it can do so dynamically. So as the number of digits behind the string group change, this function will adapt and still give us the result that we want. So let's take the replace and find functionality one step further. So if we look at this code over here, this variable, these values, say that we want the code to read differently. We want to retain the group and the digits behind it, but we want the A to change to A and then represent the number of digits behind group. So you see in this example I have here group, and there's 2 digits after the word group, and the result is group, those 2 digits, 1 and 2, and then A2. So the 2 behind the A represents the number of digits to the right of the string group. So we'd want this value to return as group 104, then a space, then A3, because 104, that's 3 digits, and then a space, and then the word Friday. So the first thing we have to do is understand how to find the number of digits behind the string group, to the right of the string group. So we'll use the find function, and this time we're looking for a space within the text B11, and we're going to have to subtract from this value the 5 digits for group plus the space itself. That'd be 6. And this gives us 3. And similarly, if we autofill, this will give us 4. So what this find function is doing is identifying the number of digits behind, just to the right of, the string group. So now that we know this, we can complete this function. So this will start with replace, then B11, which is the old text. Then the start number will be find. We'll still be using the position of the A for this part. So we're looking for A within B11. And 5 characters, and the new text of A. But we're going to add to this using the ampersand. We're going to combine this with another find function, which will be looking for the space in the same location, B11, minus the value 6. So you can see it gave us the desired result. The 3 represents the fact that there are 3 digits to the right of the word group. And of course, if we autofill, you see it's A4, because there's 4 digits to the right of group. So as you can see, the substitute, replace, and find functions can be very useful when modifying strings. I hope you found this video to be useful, and as always, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to contact me, and I'll be happy to assist you.